Hi, everyone. Welcome to our virtual pre-departure series. This is the first session that we'll be holding these series for today and tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining. This first presentation is about the University of Tasmania. So it's a very general presentation about the university, the courses we offer, rankings and scholarships, etc. Just a few housekeeping rules. We will have an open Q&A session at the end of this presentation. I'm hoping this presentation runs for about 30 minutes with a 15-minute Q&A following that. So thank you for joining. As I said, this is the first session happening, so I'll move on to the next slide. I'll just, before I do that, I'll introduce myself though. My name is Mona Maliki. I'm from the International Student Recruitment Team at the University of Tasmania, and I'm one of the regional development officers. I predominantly look after Africa and Middle East. Those are my regions, and part of my role is dealing with our education agents and students as well to help them submit applications through the University of Tasmania, as well as a whole range of other things such as these series that you've been attending. So I'll go on to the next slide. So University of Tasmania, we've got so much happening at the university since we are the only university in Tasmania. We do have a range of different courses available. We do offer more than 100 undergraduate degrees and more than 150 postgraduate degrees. So our degrees range from different areas. We cover areas in business, in College of Arts, Law and Education. So things like Bachelor of Arts, tourism, media, design, etc. We also do Bachelors of Law. Our College of Health and Medicine, we cover things like MBBS, pharmaceutical sciences, master's level, laboratory medicine. We also have our College of Science and Engineering, where we have our Bachelor of Engineering degrees with a whole range of different master's, postgraduate degrees in different areas, such as environmental management, etc., as well as things like agriculture and you name it. So because we are the only university, we do offer a lot of courses for students. We are also very research driven. So we have the best teaching staff and we've won awards for the teaching excellence in all of Australia. So we are ranked quite highly when it comes to our academic side as well as our research. And I'll speak more about Tasmania as a whole and, lifestyle in Tasmania, etc., and how it's an affordable place to live. And I'll also touch base on the campuses that we have available in Tasmania. So this presentation is mainly for students or agents who want to know more about the university and what we offer. This is a beautiful photo of our Mount Wellington. It does have amazing views from the top, and it's a popular tourist destination as well for anyone who comes to Hobart. This is based in Hobart, which is our capital city. It really is a place unlike any other. So it's a very popular place. You drive all the way to the top, and we've got these scenic views. So it's really quite a pleasant place to be. As long as you've got a thick jacket, you should be fine. This is a little bit about our geographic location. So as you can see, Hobart is the capital city, which is right at the bottom. And then Launceston is our second largest city. So by car, it takes about 2.5 hours drive. We do usually have flights, not at the moment due to COVID, but we do have flights that run from, Hobart, Launceston to Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, all of the mainland cities and states. So that's not a problem. We are approximately the same size as Taiwan, or roughly the same as Sri Lanka, for those of you who know. And, traveling to Melbourne, it only takes about an hour and 15 minutes. To Sydney, it takes about an hour and a half. So usually our students like to take some time off, travel to the mainland, do some shopping, relax, and come back and continue their studies. So, you can travel to any of those places in one day and come back if you wish. I think going to Perth, which is Western Australia, takes a little bit longer, which is about 4 to 5 hours. But, Melbourne and Sydney are the more popular places where students usually go travel to take some time off and come back to Tassie. So it's not that far when you look at it on the map. A little bit about, some facts. So Tasmania is one of the states of Australia. We are a completely and entirely regional state as well. Hobart is Australia's second oldest capital city. So we do have lots of history in the state. Our population is roughly around 530,000 people. So this number keeps going up, with the help of tourism, and a lot of interstate people do end up moving here in Tasmania, to continue to live and work if they found new employment here in Tasmania. So we do have a lot of mainlanders who come to Tasmania to live, and we also have a lot of students now coming to stay here as well, so and study. So the population does go up. It certainly has from the past few years I've been here. 40% of our state is national parks. So that just gives you an idea of how much natural wilderness is in Tasmania, and it's all untouched. 40% of it is all untouched. And, we do have quite strict regulations in terms of building and, um, making sure that wildlife is untouched. So we do like to reserve the scenery of the state. So when you do travel here at some point, you will notice that. So it's quite an amazing place to have a scenic view. We are quite a diverse and mixed economy, and this is the same case as with a lot of other states. Over time, the states become more diverse and more mixed as we bring in more students to the state. It does enhance that diversity within the community as well. And I mentioned before, we do have a fast-growing tourism. Um, we are one of the fastest growing tourism destinations. So, we were fourth in the Lonely Planet's top 10 destinations for in 2015. So, and I believe we were ranked. Hobart was one of the easiest and most livable cities in the world. So, we do have a lot of positives over here. And I did mention before that the University of Tasmania is the only university in the whole state. So our role is to support all of our international students as well as domestic students who come here, who want to study. We offer everything to students, and I'll touch base on those points in the next few slides. A little bit about our weather. So, our weather, we do have 4 seasons. A lot of people think we don't, but we do. The first one is about summer. So our summer runs from around December to February, and it can get quite hot, but on average, the temperature is between 12 to 21 degrees. And there's so many things you can do during summer, and we always look forward to summertime here in Tasmania, since we're really big on outdoor activities such as swimming, picnicking, diving, fishing, etc. Then we go into autumn, which is from March to May. So the degrees go a little bit lower, but also we do have higher degrees, such as 17 degrees on top. So, you can still do your outdoor activities here and there. Winter, it does get a little bit colder during winter. So we're currently in winter at the moment. So it's from June to August. On average, our temperatures are around 10 degrees Celsius. So it does get cold, but it's only for a couple of months of the year. So we do have, usually on a normal situation, we would have lots of festivals being run during winter, which brings everyone out. So it's really quite an exciting time during winter as well. Then spring is one of the best times as well. We've got really moderate temperatures here, which runs from September to November. So um, there's always an opportunity if students are interested in outdoor activities to take part in that. A little bit about Hobart. So, as I mentioned before, Hobart is our main capital city, is our capital city, and Sandy Bay is the main campus. So the photo you see on the screen is our biggest campus, which is based in the capital city. So it's about a 10-minute bus ride to the main city center in Hobart. So it's really not that long. So if we have students who are living in the city, it only takes them a 7-10-minute bus ride from the city to our campus, and the buses run every 10 minutes. So I take the bus myself, and it's really convenient because I live in the city. So it is quite diverse. That photo I showed you initially, you can see it here. That's the mountain at the top, the Mount Wellington. So from the top, it's got amazing views. Now, Launceston was the second largest city, which is up north in the state. So Launceston is a little bit more quieter than Hobart, obviously, and it's got a really vibrant food and wine culture as well. There's so many different tourist spots you can go visit, such as the um, what was it called? Um, Cataract, George, yes. So that took a while. So it is the largest city in the north. We do have other cities surrounding Launceston as well. And we do have a campus there as well. In terms of air quality, I'm not sure how many of you know, but we actually have the cleanest air. Northwest Tasmania is rated as the cleanest air in the world every year. So I mean, imagine coming out of the plane and just smelling that fresh air or breathing in that fresh air. It's just fantastic. Sometimes when I travel and go to other countries and come back to Tasmania, there is a big difference in the quality of air. And you can definitely sense that as soon as you step out of the plane. We do have in terms of safety, we are the safest city, and in general, the safest state. So we do have a lower crime rate when it comes to other capital cities in the mainland. I was previously an international student myself for 6 years at the University of Tasmania, and I never encountered anything, even till today, any sort of safety issues or amongst our student community. So if that is one of your concerns, rest assured, we are a very safe state. And so I just wanted to say this point. So our whole island is your campus. So what that means is Tasmania as a state, because we are the only university in the whole state, um, we are available to you. Our whole state is available to you. You are our student ultimately, and you know, um, we will serve you in terms of our state because we have such a natural laboratory where students can go out to do field work, which is only half an hour away, or in terms of agriculture, for example, or if you're doing environmental sciences and all of the other benefits that we have. In terms of the harbour, where it deals with our Australian Maritime College, for example, our Institute of Marine and Antarctic Science. It's basically a natural laboratory for students to go and experiment and take part of have that student experience as part of their degree. So literally our whole island is your campus. As I mentioned before, we do have a wide range of degree options. So just briefly on the slide, we've got arts. If you're into social work, we have that on a bachelor and master's level. We do have, bachelors of education and bachelor of law. We do medicine, pharmacy, nursing, psychology, nutrition science, exercise and sports science. If you're into that field, our College of Health and Medicine has a wide range of degrees. Business is quite popular among students as well. I've done business myself when I was a student. So I did my Bachelor of Business and then I did my Master's of Professional Accounting. So, things like economics, accounting, finance, MBA, those are all of our popular courses that we have. In terms of the College of Science and Engineering, things, if you're interested in physics, chemistry, architecture, engineering, agricultural sciences, environmental sciences, and geospatial science. So, as well as aquaculture, and marine engineering. So that falls under our Australian Maritime College and our Institute of Marine and Antarctic Science. If we want to look at rankings, some students are interested in that. So we are top 300 in the world. This equates to top 2% in the world. So a lot of people don't realize that we do actually have quite a high ranking. We are top 50 in the Asia Pacific region, and 48 out of our 51 disciplines are at or above world standard. If we want to look at rankings by subject, we are number one in the world when it comes to Southern Ocean research. Of course, this is a given because of our natural geographic location. We're very close to Antarctica, so a lot of our academics and researchers actually go out to Antarctica. They do their research, they bring it back to University of Tasmania. They liaise with other researchers in the mainland, other academics that are within this field. So we are number one in the world when it comes to that. We're fourth in the world for marine and freshwater biology. Again, our whole state is for you. So it is a natural laboratory. We're 7th in the world for fisheries and oceanography, 10th in geology or deposits, 44th in the world for agricultural science, and 61st in the world for law. And the last point is our Center of Excellence for Maritime. So our Australian Maritime College is the best when it comes to the academics that teach our students, in terms of naval architecture, maritime studies. We have a range of MBA degrees that specialize in logistics management, in marine and technology advanced. We've got so many different degrees. We're actually one of the only universities, our Australian Maritime College, that offers degrees from certificate level all the way down from the bottom, all the way down up to the end, so PhD level. We are the only university that does that. So if anyone is interested in that area, it's really a no-brainer to come study with us. Just a few photos of our world-class facilities. We are a really big university because we're spread out. So, our facilities run from every campus. So, our Sandy Bay campus has so many different areas, such as our Institute of Marine and Antarctic Studies, which is in the city center, but also in the main campus, we've got so many world-class facilities available. In Launceston up north, we've got our Australian Maritime College, for example, which is the top right-hand corner. This is going to be a popular one, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about the scholarships we have. So on this slide, the first top, it mentions about the Tasmanian International Scholarship. We call it TIS. So the Tasmanian International Scholarship is available for all international students, regardless of which country of citizenship, etc. It is a 25% tuition fee discount. It goes per year for the duration of your degree. It is based on academic merit, so you would have to have around minimum 75% and above to be eligible to get this scholarship. I should note, though, ultimately admissions, our international admissions team are the people who make this decision. So recruitment don't do that, neither does anyone else. So once you submit an application to us, your application will automatically be assessed by the international admissions team, and the student will be notified on their letter of offer. So if you do get granted, you will see it says, "Congratulations, we've offered you a Tasmanian International Scholarship." And if you're not eligible, it will mention that you were checked and unfortunately you didn't meet the 75% minimum mark. There is no application fee for this, and it is for the duration of your degree. So as an example, if a student is applying for a master's degree at the University of Tasmania, we will look at your bachelor degree. So it's whatever your previous study was. And it has to be a minimum of 12 months full-time study. So if your previous qualification was only for 6 months, we don't look at that. We will look at whatever is the prior one to that. So it has to be, you must have studied your previous qualification for at least 12 months full time. The next point is college scholarships and bursaries. So we're currently running a range of different scholarships. Even during COVID-19, they are applicable for students to look at, and they will be assessed for it, given they meet the terms and conditions of every bursary, of course, and they're applying for the correct degree, or they come from a certain nationalities and countries, because some of the college bursaries that we have available could be more for students who come from a specific country, or for students who are applying for a certain type of degree. So whether it's a bachelor in our College of Science and Engineering, or some of our master's degree as well. So it depends on the terms and conditions of the college scholarships, but we do have them available. If you just type in scholarships UTAS on Google, and then you'll click international students, because you would be an international student looking at our scholarships, it will take you onto our website where it shows the range of different scholarships that we have. The last point is our 10% tuition fee discount. So the most popular one is our family discount. So when I was a student, I got the 25% discount, and I also had my sister studying with me at the same time. So she got the 10% discount. So this is mainly for students who have siblings, and if one of the siblings is currently studying with us or has already completed their degree, if their other sibling wants to come study with us, they will first be assessed for our Tasmanian International Scholarship, which is the 25% discount. And if they don't get that one, they will be eligible to get the family discount because their sibling has already studied with us or is currently studying with us. We do also have 10% discounts if you're studying a foundation studies package with us, transitioning onto an undergraduate degree. And also, this is another one I got, is if a student completes their bachelor degree with us, or their undergrad degree, and if you stay at UTAS and continue on to a master's degree, we would be eligible, you would be eligible to get the 10% tuition fee discount. In terms of English language, so we do have our own English language center. So we've got packaged offers where students usually show us their IELTS results or PTE. And once they show that, what will happen is if they don't meet the eligibility criteria into that specific course, you can request for us to package, it's called UTAS Access Direct Entry. With our letter of offers. So they are smaller class sizes. They range, the classes go for 5-week modules. So if a student needs 10 weeks, that will be packaged on their letter of offer. Student services and support. So on arrival, I mean, we provide so many different services to students as soon as they get here, when it is safe for you to do so, of course, when the borders do open. You know, as soon as you get here, there's lots of opportunities for you to have that available to you. So we've got pre-arrival information. So this virtual pre-departure series is part of that. It forms part of that. So it's allowing students to understand what should they expect when they start their studies in the upcoming semester, which is semester 2. We've got orientation sessions and experiences. We're actually going to have one of our sessions is going to be on orientation and international student advisor support, for example. So please join in if you're interested on that. You know, you'll start getting linked to our facilities and institutions, our institutes, sorry. And also, we're going to have a session today on TUU, our Tasmanian University Union, where you can take part of societies, etc., and be parts of clubs. So, you know, you'll be engaged with all that information, and our job is to make sure that you are aware of the facilities available for you. As I mentioned, we're going to have our international student advisors speak tomorrow, and we obviously have qualified counselors on campus. You'll be able to have 24 access, 24/7 access to our libraries, computer labs, etc. We do have academic support, free airport pickup. This is on a normal situation. That's available, and you know, free social activities. The university likes to take part in a lot of events for students throughout the year. Accommodation. So there's actually a whole session on accommodation in about 2-3 hours time. So which I'll be presenting as well. And we'll have Jacob from our student living presenting as well. So just briefly, we do have accommodation available on all of our campuses. These are current 2020 prices. So it really depends what you want, whether you want a single room or do you want a self-contained unit. You know, if it's a self-contained unit, it will be a little bit more expensive. But on average, we're looking at around $200 to $250 a week. This is all Australian dollars as well. You know, and some facilities have things like internet and meals included or excluded. So it really depends on your preference as to what you prefer. Once you, I guess, um, on a normal situation, you would submit an application once you get your visa. However, during the current situation, our advice is to basically once you get your COE and when it's safe for you to do so, you know, we're going to abide by the state government rules, and help students settle in as smooth as possible once they're able to arrive here in Australia and Tasmania. If you are under 18, we do have hostels and homestays available as well. And we do have off-campus as well. You know, if students want to not use our accommodation facilities, they're able to have private rental leasing as well. In general, cost of living is a lot less than Melbourne and Sydney, for example. As a student, living expenses is one of your concerns, and it was one of my concerns when I was an international student. And I can really tell you that it is a lot cheaper to live here. It is a lot cheaper to go out and get groceries. Your utility bills are much cheaper. Public transport is a lot cheaper because everything is close to each other. You don't need to travel too far away from things, from one place to another. And the main one is the rent. The rent is a lot cheaper compared to Melbourne and Sydney. And feel free to do your own research if you're not sure, because once you do some research, you will realize that you do get more bang for your buck when you come study here and you rent out, for example. So you can tell from our accommodation prices already. Other universities might have it a lot higher, but we generally tend to, have really average pricing, and it's around 12% cheaper than Melbourne and Sydney. There are lots of casual work opportunities available for students. So once you do get a student visa and you come here safely, you can work up to 40 hours a fortnight. So I worked when I was an international student. I really wanted to work. So on the side, I had my full-time study, and I also worked as a casual. So I'm not going to go through all that, but basically, I worked in hospitality for 4 years, and I also worked in retail for 4 years as well. So I did a lot of, cafe work and, worked in a retail clothing store. And those are just general jobs that a lot of university students, international students go for. And it's not just international students, it's also domestic students. They pick up the same types of jobs that international students pick up here. So there's no difference between the types of jobs that international students get versus domestic. Um, there's so many different types of job. You can work as part-time, you can work as casual, and we actually have one of the highest minimum award rate, hourly pays, um, in the world. So you can see there, if you're a waiter or waitress, you get 16 to $25 an hour. If you want to be a barista, which is what I did for 4 years, and I loved it. It was one of the best jobs I had, was $23 an hour. So I was getting good money as a student on the side, but just remember, it is just pocket money. So we still need to see that students have sufficient living expenses beforehand as part of their GTE requirements. I'm just conscious of time, but there's student experiences available. I mean, the student experience, because we're the only university, again, I mean, students can volunteer with UTAS Life. We've got heaps of different types of sports you can get involved in. UTAS events is huge, and the Tasmanian University Union, which you'll hear today from, runs so many events for students. Sightseeing is endless, as you can see from some of the photos, just looking out your windows is a beautiful view. So you can do things like bushwalking, and during that last photo is MoFo, so that takes up that happens usually during our winter time. So there's so many different activities for students to get involved in. It's really endless. In summary, I'm just going to wrap it up so we can start our Q&A session. So just remember, we are top 2% in the world. We really are an affordable place to come live, as well as education as well. Our average tuition fees are, around 30,000 Australian dollars per year, depending on what you're studying. That's on average. Whereas a lot of other universities are more expensive than that. So it really is affordable, even when you take into consideration our accommodation costs and, living costs, etc. So you'll end up saving a lot more that way. It is really a perfect destination, study destination. I'm very biased towards UTAS. I've always loved living and previously studying here. It's really clean and green, and it really offers a suitable environment for students to study in. It's got the, I guess, study and life balance, as well as work balance if you want to work as a casual. So, you can focus on your studies, you can do your part-time casual work, and you can really try and accomplish whatever you need to do, and take part in peer community, take part in your community groups in terms of volunteering or becoming a peer leader. There's so many things that you can do to help other students as well. And our scholarships, I mean, we have so many bursaries and scholarships happening at the moment. So I think it's really good for students to have a look at that. And hands down, Tasmania is the friendliest state I've ever been to. I've lived here for 12, 13 years, previously as an international student, and now I'm an Australian citizen. And I can hands down tell you guys, we are the friendliest state. You walk out in the street, someone will tell you, hi, how's it going? Are you okay? So in the mainland, it's very different. It's more populated, whereas in Tasmania, we like to keep it really simple and friendly, and you will genuinely have an international experience. So everyone I've spoken to, all students I've spoken to who have already started their degree here, they're all having a fantastic student experience. And it's because of that friendliness from our academics, our top staff helping students move through their student experience. We really try and make it enjoyable for students, and that's really our aim, is to make sure your student journey is positive. That's the end of the presentation. Now, I'm actually open to questions, and if anyone does have any questions, so feel free to pop them through. I'm just going to have a quick look. Yes, Rebecca, I just saw your comment. Tasmania is a beautiful place, and I really hope you do visit too soon, once everything is back to normal, hopefully. Just had a question about the weather. So yeah, I'm not sure if you missed it in the beginning, but we've got 4 seasons, so um, it ranges depending on when you come down. But generally during winter time, it's on average 10 degrees, and during summer, it does get a little bit hotter. But on average, we have about 20 degrees Celsius during summer. So if there's any questions that anyone has, please feel free to pop them through. Students are asking, so or agents, we are going to have copies of this presentation available for public after these sessions are over. So it might take up to the rest of this week or maybe next week for them to be available on our landing page. So I've had a question, good question. So under the travel restrictions, are only online courses available? So that's correct. So at the moment, we've got a link to our where you went and registered. There should be or you should have already got emails about our online study. So majority of our courses are available online at the moment, but obviously there will be some that are not available online, and they have to be face to face. But what we'll do is we'll pop a link on our landing page where you use to register, a link to our online study. It's a PDF format where it shows all of the online courses available. Now, some of them are only distance only, but the rest of them that show is online attendance on campus. So technically, they were courses that were only available on campus, but we've made them available online. And our team have done such a fantastic job in trying to collate everything and make sure it's available online. But there are certain courses that won't be available online, unfortunately, because there's so much face to face, and they require prac as part of the requirements. So unfortunately, some of them are not, but we do have a lot that's available. So that was one of the questions we had. I'm just looking through some of these questions. So just had a question about visas and stuff. So for students who haven't got visas and they've gotten their COEs, joining online classes is a good option. What happens if students get denied a visa upon application? So basically at the moment we have a full refund policy. So feel free to, if you want, we advise you to start online. So go through the application process. We will provide you a COE if everything goes smoothly and you tick all the boxes, and you'll start online as per usual mid-July. And once it's safe for everyone to start thinking about their visas, if any student gets a visa refusal, we do have a full refund and policy. So whatever deposit that you had paid to start your semester two, that would be refunded because it's out of your control. So our compliance team have confirmed that. Yep, so we do have free pickup facility from airport in a normal situation. Currently, it might be run differently due to COVID-19. I mean, Tasmania has had no active cases in 1 month. Sorry, in a couple of days, we've cleared our active cases, but we haven't had any new cases for 1 month right now. So if you're considering coming here and studying in terms of health, um, it's one of the best places to come to right now. I think our state has managed this really, really efficiently, and it just shows how vigilant our community is when it comes to health. So if you're concerned about that, please don't be. Our premier has done an amazing job trying to control the state and making sure that we're flattening the curve, and we have been. So we haven't had any new cases in 1 month, and we have completely got rid of any active cases. So we don't have any active cases at the moment. So just getting a fair few questions coming through. Just had a question about deferral process. So if you'd like to defer your application, so if you're a current student who've already got an application with us and you don't want to study online, all you have to do is contact us, and we can just defer your application. We'll need a student ID number or an application reference number. And it's very easy for us to do that. What will happen is you'll receive a new letter of offer with the new start dates that you'll have to accept. And it will most likely be for starting semester 1 next year if you want to defer your application. But I do suggest that you're not going to lose anything if you start online. So if that course that you've applied for is actually available online to start semester 2, go for it. Because we have that full refund policy, you're really not going to lose anything if you start online. Instead, you're going to jump ahead of everyone, and you're going to start off your degree anyway. So just getting a lot of questions here. I'm just going through them. So tuition fees, is that the same as having online courses? Yes, it is the same. So we've actually put a freeze on our tuition fees for our 2020-2021 year. So we're not going to be increasing our fees. So we've put a tuition freeze, but we are not offering any discounts on our tuition fees at the moment. But we have put a stop for the increase for our international students. So is there a deadline for submitting COE fees? So pretty much, because if you're studying online, if you're starting your course online, you can pay right at the very end. So I would suggest by the 12th of July, to make sure that you've accepted and paid your fee. I mean, we will issue the COE, no problems. That will be all in part of the process. But if you're genuinely interested, please go ahead and start paying for your letter of offer. Make sure that you've ticked off everything. Our next session right after this is our admissions session. So if you want to know more about your offer letter and conditions and how to accept and enroll, stay on for the next session or use the same link to log on to this session. So how long will it take for COE to be provided? So as soon as you've accepted and you've met all the conditions, you will be admitted into the university, and then you can start enrolling. So giving a COE is not a big task. As long as you've paid your tuition fee deposit and have ticked all of your conditions on your letter of offer, should be good to go. There's a lot of questions coming through. Are flights available to travel to Tasmania? Just a bit confused about state borders and stuff. Yes. So Genesis, there at the moment, you know, Tasmania's borders is currently shut. We go by, so just to give a bit of background to students who are not aware of how the system works here. So all of the states in Australia, it's governed by the state government. So the state governments ultimately make the final decision as to whether they want to open up their borders to anyone, not just international students. So at the moment, Tasmania has its borders closed. We do go by the state government's advice. So at the moment, like if you do want to travel here, you would have to abide by the strict quarantine rules. So you have to lock yourself up for 14 days through a government provided facility. So we make sure that that's all been done smoothly for you. But um, you know, at the moment, we just go by what the government says, and at the moment there's no one coming into the state because Australia hasn't opened its borders yet to international students, but there are discussions around wanting to do that next month. So keep your eye out on that. We go by whatever information we have on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to wrap it up in about 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm just going to go through whatever questions we have left here. There's a lot of questions coming through, which is fantastic. Thanks so much for sending these through. Just answering, I've answered some of these. So Mersad, I just answered that question. So 2 weeks of quarantine upon arrival, yes. So as soon as you arrive to Tasmania, I believe you would need to quarantine yourself in a government-provided facility for 2 weeks. Okay, so how will online classes take place? Aurelia, so we actually have a transition to online study session happening tomorrow, which is all about that. But long story short, you are available to start online as soon as you accept, pay your offer and enroll. Accept your offer and enroll. You'll get login student details where you can get access to your e-student. That's what we call it, and it's all run via Milo. So all of the sessions will be there, your lectures, your tutorials, etc. So you log in via Zoom and do participation, participate in some of your sessions, etc. So it's all done online via our Milo platform. Accommodation, you guys can actually apply for accommodation right now. If you've already accepted, you can do that. Students are not stopped from not, we haven't said that you can't apply. You can definitely apply. But in terms of accommodation, we just have to make sure that it's the arrival at the moment that a lot of students are concerned about. So, but feel free to apply for accommodation as that is currently available for students to apply for. Is it possible to do one semester online? Of course, you can start semester 2, and once it's safe to come here, come here. And once the borders are all clearer about the information they're going to provide, start your online study. There's no need for someone to defer their application if the course is available online. Start your study online, your online studies now in semester 2. And again, we do have that refund policy in place, so you're really not losing anything. Instead, it's more beneficial for you to start early. So there's a lot of questions about traveling. Um, it's all tricky. We go by the state government and federal government's recommendations. So it's really tricky. At the moment, we're not all traveling at all. So it's a very tricky time. So just definitely keep your eye out. We do have our state governments and federal governments have websites all about coronavirus and COVID-19, and they usually post all of the latest updates. What we can do is post a link to our state government website where you can view that on our landing page as well. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much to everyone joining. Now, the same link that you used to join into the session, you can use the same link to attend our next session. So our next session is going to be on admissions, which starts at 1:15. It's literally in 15 minutes. So you can use the same link to log on to the next one. You can also use the same link to log on to our accommodation, which is at 2:15. This is our Australian Eastern Standard Time, our time. The next one after that is our Tasmanian University Union. So if you're interested to hear about our clubs and societies and how the union, the Tasmanian University Union helps our students become involved, log on to that session as well. And the last one is a really good one. I've got 4 international students speaking about their student experience. So try not to miss that one. It's our current students speaking about their experience. So we've got another 4 sessions after this one. Next one, 1:15, is at admissions, topic about admissions. 2:15 is on accommodation. 3 p.m. is TUU, and 3:45 p.m. is international student experience, using the same link that you use to log on to this one. We will answer the rest of your questions after the session. So we'll have a record of all of these questions and we'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for joining this first session of our virtual pre-departure series. I'll see you in 15 minutes. Thank you.